Hey everyone, welcome to the Home Service Monopoly podcast. I am so excited because today's guest we have all the way from the Canadian hub, Nic from Roofr. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to deep dive today into all things CRM. It's like one of the biggest questions we get asked about in the roofing industry. And so today, my goal with you is to be able to answer every roofer's question, what they need to know about selecting, implementing, and growing using their CRM.
I
Sound
love
good?
it. It's my jam. Let's do this.
Awesome. Well, for those of you who don't know you just yet, give them let's start with your background, give us who you are, what you do, and tell us how'd you first get involved in the roofing industry and now becoming the VP of operations at Roofr.
I would love that title, but it's sales manager. But it's all good.
I'm manifesting it.
You're manifesting it. It's working out. Yeah, so I'm Nic Capobianco. So my background is a little bit different from the tech guy, especially being in the roofing industry. So I'm a roofer by trade. I've been roofing since I was 12 years old. My dad's been in business for 31 years. So 12 years old, he woke me and my cousin up, who is the CEO of Roofr, for first day of summer. And I think it was grade 7. And he was just like, "You're not sleeping in. We're going to work." So we got in my dad's truck, went out to a job. He didn't ease us into it. It was a mansard roof right off the bat. And that's how we kind of started our roofing journey. From 12 all the way to 26, I was roofing most days. So when I was in school, I was roofing the summers. When I was in university, I kind of started moving away from that and started away from school rather, and started working with them full time. And went from laboring to shingling to selling with them to running the company. And around 2016, my cousin, Richie, who you guys might know, he's the CEO of Roofr, came to me with an idea, and he said, "Hey, I got this idea. We both come from roofing families, and we know that there's some issues with how homeowners perceive roofers and also how homeowners can get the right bids." So he created an instant estimator, which we still have now, just much more optimized from what we had back 9 years ago. And we created a marketplace. And that's how I got into the tech space. So going from banging on shingles on the roof to selling jobs virtually over the Zoom and the phone. And as we kind of built and grew, we realized that there were some gaps in the roofers' processes, from measuring taking too long and being too expensive, or having to drive out and hand measure ourselves. So we invented our measurement tool. And then the proposals just weren't full stack. They weren't leaving value behind, and customers were picking companies that were cheaper, even though that the other company was better. So what we did was we built a full stack sales presentation proposal tool that helps leave value behind and sell more jobs. And at that point, we noticed that, hey, the next step is, build a calendar, build material ordering, invoicing. So we're pretty close to a CRM. So we actually went backwards into the CRM space, where we had all the sales tools from lead capture to measurement to proposal, and added everything else after that. So that's where we came in with Roofr, and it's been, 9 years of us doing that and helping out the roofing industry. And for me, it's the best thing I could do, because I'm a roofer. I'm helping out my people, my family, our customers, thankfully. That would be weird if they weren't. But helping them out and kind of working with operations and business management all through the Roofr platform.
Love it. And like so many other roofers themselves, how do they get started? Usually some of them have this, the same family history where, dad, uncle, brother, someone in the family got them into it. And it's literally the same experience you've gone through. And I can't believe it's been 9 years. I did not realize it's been that long. Yeah. And so you're talking to roofers, 9 years of conversations with roofers, being in the industry. You have a lot of knowledge built up, and I want to unpack some of that. And I want to start with kind of the challenges that roofing companies have when it comes to CRMs and tech. What are you seeing? What's the biggest challenge you've seen roofing companies face when it comes to adopting and using CRMs effectively?
So I have a line that I like to use is, the best CRM is the one that works for you. There's a lot of great tools out there, roofing industry specific and not roofing industry specific. And ultimately, the one that you use is the one that's going to be right for you. And so I think, number one, that's one of the biggest things. People are always asking online in the Facebook groups and everything, what's the best CRM? It's the answer is the best one that works for you. So it could be Roofr, it could be JobNibus, it could be AccuLynx. What are you going to use in your day-to-day to help you hit your goals? The bigger unpacked part of that question is it really depends on what stage you're at. So I like to think of like there's three big stages of roofing companies. You got the SMB that just started out that are either using some tech or not using any at all. You have the mid-market, which are kind of in and around that 10 to $20 million range that have really kind of built up processes and they have a bunch of stuff going on and they're using that to kind of progress. And then you have the enterprise. The majority of the industry, about 85% of the industry, fits in the SMB bucket. And those people, the biggest problem that they're facing is they don't know how to implement tech. I always kind of look at there's roofers and there's business owners, and very rarely those two match. So getting those roofers to learn to be business people is tough, but not impossible. And you really just need to show them the value of what their day-to-day is. I was that guy. I was that roofer banging on shingles that was writing everything on pen and paper. I still got that kind of stuck in me right here with pen and paper always. It's the way I memorize things and get everything in. But breaking that habit and building them out to say, like, how much time are you spending working in your business instead of on your business? And technology is here not to kind of hinder that, but to kind of advance you into that so that you can take that next step and really finding out what your goals are. So is it spending more time with your family? Is it growing the company? Is it scaling things? Is it being able to just, take a step back and be able to watch it grow? And that's the biggest hard part there. Once you get that through and kind of show the value of it and having a streamlined system and finding a system that's actually going to work for them, that's that big jump that they'll make. For the mid-market, what I normally see is it's kind of like a fractured ecosystem that they've built. They've kind of like bootstrapped it and built their company up, and they have a CRM that they kind of use, but they use this proposal tool, this lead capture tool, this invoicing tool. And now you have like a cloud, like an orbit of technology around it. And you're spending so much time maintaining that stuff, not to mention the amount of money you're spending for each one of those subscriptions. And that's a big thing. So for those mid-market companies, it's how do you continue that reliance on tech, but amalgamate it into one so that the people working on these tech stacks can focus on other big problems in your company to solve. There's so many good single source solutions out there that you can use to kind of piece it in. But a lot of the good CRMs out there have a lot of that stuff built in through acquisition, through building or whatever. So that's a big thing there. And then for the enterprise companies, there's a lot. Like it's a big world. You're kind of standing apart away from everybody else. It's less than 15% of the industry. And those people have a mixture of what the mid-market problems have. They have all these things all over their places. But the main thing I see with them is they're using a CRM that's needed for a mid-market or a small company. And they're just tacking things on to make it work. At that point, if you're at an enterprise company, you got to kind of look outside and look at having someone build and optimize your CRM. And those consultants, such as Business 401 and other people, are going to be invaluable to you to take you to that next steps. But you just got to let go of the reins a little bit and trust somebody else. So whether it's a build out of your existing and adding things on properly and scaling processes, or if it's like getting someone to build you out a Zoho, a HubSpot, a Salesforce to kind of really fit your needs. Because at that point, you've scaled out so much, there's going to be different things that you're going to be working with.
Yeah, that's a very interesting perspective. I love how you broke it down based on the size of the company as well, because we all know once you hit certain growth, there's breakpoints that happen, there's things that happen, and it's like not like a one solution fits all. There is certain times where you need to, based on the company's needs and sizes. And one of the things you touched on is, listen, home service people, roofers, like they're not necessarily tech people. And that's fine. You got to know what you're good at and how to delegate what you're not good at. That's what makes a successful company. And so it sounds like one of the biggest reasons CRM implementations fail in the roofing companies could be that the roofing owner or someone who's not tech savvy is trying to implement it on their own. Does that sound about right? Is that what you're seeing happening?
Trying to implement it on their own is definitely one of those things there. You're like when you're picking a CRM out there, and look for one that has that support for you. Look for one that's not going to charge you an arm and a leg for implementation. If you can do it for free, even better. You want to make sure that someone can help you get these things set up, because especially if you're coming from nothing, or like, let's say at best spreadsheets on Google Sheets or Excel or something like that, and moving into this, you got to understand that not everything's going to work the way that you've envisioned it in your mind. So find someone, a company that's going to be there to kind of hold your hand throughout that process and teach you like the good and the bad, the good things about data hygiene, the bad things about data hygiene. And that's super important. But the other side of things with those people coming over is them getting frustrated. And you see this time and time again. You've built out this Excel sheet that does so much, and you have all these formulas and stuff like that, but it's a lot of manual work. You're spending a lot of time, or your team's spending a lot of time kind of maintaining and doing that, or having a whiteboard in the background. I can't tell you how many times I'm on a Zoom call and I'm talking to someone, I just see that giant whiteboard with swim lanes behind them. And I'm like, what you got back there? Like, what's going on with that? And just like, oh, it just works good this way. We have sticky notes, we have files and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, it works good. But like, wouldn't you like my analogy I always use is you're using a wheel with wooden spokes. It's working fine, but wouldn't you want steel spokes in there so it's going to work longer? Like, that's the thing that you're looking at. And so it's breaking the habit. And that's a bigger problem than those who have just never used tech at all and coming into it and trying to build it themselves. Breaking the habit's hard because you got there by doing this. And by the nature of you being there, it's not broken. So the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, fits with a lot of spots, but this is not going to help you hit that next goal. You go back to that wheel with wood spokes and steel spokes analogy. You need to be able to really go into it and really work with it, work with the team that's supporting you with your CRM, whoever that may be, and really try to figure out where are the things that are broken and where are the things that are going to lead me to that next level. So really kind of trusting the process and finding that CRM that works for you and your company. That's that's going to fix that kind of hiccup in your process.
Definitely. And I think it's easier, the earlier you get that going, the easier it is, because you don't want to build. And now you're having to do this giant project that is taking everything you've built and putting it into a CRM or transferring things. And I see people like jumping from CRM to CRM. And, there's always going to be there's some really great technologies out there, but you also want to be careful about that. Like, you want to really choose one that works for you and that could work for you, like whatever your growth projections are for the next 3-5 years. Like, make sure that CRM is the best fit so you could stay, because it's a big undertaking. I'm helping a couple clients with it right now in terms of, because we do their marketing and they're switching CRMs because the CRM is such a crucial piece of data for the sales team and the marketing team. And trust me, it's a project you don't want to have to do. So it's better to instill these habits and break the bad habits earlier.
So there's some really interesting things and going off of what you said. One thing that I'm noticing that's different, I would even say this year versus many years before, is we're seeing a lot of new companies come to us being like, I'm starting out my company and the first thing I need to get is a CRM, which is great. Like, you're starting to hear that now, which means people are starting to understand things. And they're saying like this is important, data is important, process is important from the beginning. So that's a great point to really focus on, is that the knowledge gap is becoming better is shrinking throughout the industry. The other thing is, you mentioned it, migration is terrible. It sucks for whatever industry you're in. So I think you make a really good point there. You need to find a tool that's going to grow with you. So I think there's a couple things you should look at when you're looking at for a CRM. Number one, and this is kind of big in the news right now, and we won't get into it, but who owns your data? And that's a big point. You want to be able to own your data. That will make your migration easier, number one. And number two, you feel a little bit more safe, because if there's an acquisition, all these companies are working to get acquired or go public and stuff. You want to make sure that you can have that data pass across to you. And the other thing is, what company is going to grow with you? Take a look at their history and what their last updates were. How were they received? Do your research there, because you can find a smaller CRM, and there's two out there right now that are relatively new. And I may be one of them, but there are companies out there that are continuously listening to their customers, growing and adapting. Those are the type of companies that you kind of want to focus on, because they'll adapt to your needs and they'll grow. If you look at like an old legacy CRM that's kind of stagnated and haven't really done anything in the past, whenever, it's going to be difficult to grow with them. I'll use our company here at Roofr. a good example on the tech side of things to run the internal business part, we use HubSpot. And there was a conversation at one point, do we move from HubSpot to Salesforce? Because I think we're kind of hitting the cap of HubSpot, but that migration was going to be terrible. And it's just, you got to face it, you're going to lose some data. Just how much data are you comfortable with losing? But all of a sudden, HubSpot started coming out with crazy amount of updates and listening to the customers and building and building and building so that we were able to stay with that. So use that in your business. What CRM are you looking at? Are they going to own your data or keep your data, or are they going to let you kind of go with it? And how are they going to grow with you? It's just as important. So you don't have to do that dreaded thing you're talking about and just switching CRM to CRM to CRM.
I love what you just mentioned about, as a CRM company, you guys use a CRM. Like, it's like just such a, yeah, no, it's just awesome. Like, you know, and it's not even like you're using your own, you're using one specific for what your guys' needs are. Like, you know, and then there's CRMs that specialize in certain industries. But this is really insightful. I kind of want to transition from some of those challenges to how a roofing company could be successful using their CRM in the right way. So I would love to just hear, you talk to so many roofing companies, you work with them day in and day out. Like, what's the one successful story where maybe a roofing company's, you know, CRM or automations, you know, transform their business?
Yeah, I think there's a couple points here that really show success when you're using a CRM. One, I would highly recommend finding a CRM that has a good presentation proposal tool, because ultimately that's your face of the industry. That's what people are going to look at and remember you by. Let's face it, homeowners don't know a lot about roofing. Like, if you're going out there and saying like, hey, I got this Owens Corning Oak Ridge here, you could also go with the duration. It's got the Flex Seal here, we can nail into it. And we're going to put that up there. It's going to be a good warranty. They're just going to be like, okay, how much does it cost? What's it going to look like? That's all they care about. And after, when they're talking to their friends, giving their referrals, giving you a review, they're going to say like, oh yeah, the roof looks great, but here are the things that really stood out about this company. And I guarantee you, almost none of them are going to be that roof. It's going to be how you communicated. It's going to be how you presented. It's going to be how your conversations were. And definitely the cleanup after. It's ruined. Just note out there, it's not CRM related. Pick up your nails, make sure it's super clean, because that will ruin a good review right away. But presentation tool is going to be important. You always want to stand out against the competition. Competition is out there. You guys are going head to head always, and you can't just rely on your sales skills and everything else. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, you need to leave that value behind. And the best way to do it is in a presentation style proposal that you can show the wants, the needs, the yeses, the nos, this is how we do things. This is why you should trust us, and have that there so that after you have that kitchen table sit, when the partners are at home talking to each other about everything, you're able to understand, they're able to reiterate what you said to them there and not try to guess on all that education that you threw on them. You have that on a piece of paper. The second thing you're going to want to really have is something that can be not so much out of the box. You want some customization. Every company is different. Every process is different. Pete and I on the Roofer Masterclass always harp on process. It's the one big thing that you need to do, and make sure your process is there, and it should be ever living, so ever changing. So having a system and a tool that is going to allow you to do that. With that, I always think about that whiteboard. That should be able to be transferred digitally onto your screen. I call our job board at Roofr, where we work, our digital whiteboard. It's got all the stages and all the things that I need, and those things move across. So that part is going to help you keep organized, never lose a job, and be able to follow up with them. And the third thing is that follow-up, the automation. You're going to want to have very clean automations, not only just to follow up with those quotes, because that's super important. That follow-up is going to help you. The industry average is you're looking at 5 to 8 touches per job to get someone to close. So are you doing those 5 to 8 touches all the time by you on the phone? Well, how many hours do you have in a day? You have a limited time. So let's let the CRM work for you and send those follow-ups on the lead nurturing, on the proposal nurturing, and everything else on there. Invoicing, all that. But the other thing with automations is stage movement, with communications, all that stuff. So if you set an appointment, that should move to appointment set. If you send a quote, it should move to proposal sent. This way, you're eliminating human error and allowing the system to go off of the actual stages in there, the time and stage and everything else. And the other thing is that communication aspect. If you could automate that, that's where you get reviews. That's where you get referrals. Is if you can let them know, like, hey, Mrs. Jones, following up on this quote, wanted to see how it's going. Or, hey, Mrs. Jones, I just put in my calendar, it's a material drop. This is when the material is going to be dropped. This is the safety precautions we got to take and everything else. And as soon as I schedule that job, hey, Mrs. Jones, here's the crew that's coming out here. This is the information on them, and this is what you're going to expect here. After the job is completed, send out a review and a referral automation and all that stuff in there. Automations is the key to allow you to work more on your business than in your business, allow you to find the broken pieces along the way and fix them, and allow you to scale 10 times quicker than you would if you're trying to do this all yourself. So summary, proposal is going to be huge. You're going to want to be able to have the automation piece that is huge. And the middle one was, I think it was not out of the box, being able to customize a little bit.
I love it. So much good knowledge, like so many tips in there. But one thing you touched on is a couple things. Well, there was a lot of good things, but the 5 to 8 time touch points, right? Like, yeah. I want anyone who's listening to this right now to think like, oh, am I actually doing that consistently? And sometimes people think they are, and they don't realize they're not because their CRM's not set up in a way to do it. And so what you talked about with the automations, I mean, it's really unlocking. It's the key to unlocking consistency within your business to make sure things aren't falling through the cracks, because every lead matters, every customer matters, and your lifetime value will increase if you know how to nurture your data, your lists, your people. And so you touched on all of those things that are so important, 5 to 8 times, but make it easy for you to run. Like, there's no way a human can't mess that up. It's just natural because we're so busy. If we miss one lead, well, if they miss one lead a day, that's 5 a week. Those are 5 opportunities lost, right? So these automations come in, they're really key. What are you seeing like automation wise, like SMS versus like emails? What's kind of the success formula you're seeing there that people should set up?
So on that touch point stuff, like you said, it's hard to follow up. It's the part where salespeople fail the most, because you can either get way too annoying for somebody or you can just completely miss that. And then next time you call them, they're like, I actually went with Joe, he showed up. If I had a touch point in there, would it help out? And you kind of fall, if you don't have automations, you fall into the trap where you're just like, I got to follow up for the sake of following up because I know I need to follow up. And it just takes up all your time. And to your point, it doesn't allow you to kind of focus on that stuff. So make it idiot proof, make it foolproof so you can just continue to go on. And the other point is that the question that you asked was, what's the combo or what's working better, SMS or email? I think a combo of the both are important, because some people read email, some people have SMS. But I would really implore, if you are not using SMS to your advantage, do it. Nowadays, it's just people open up text faster. They reply to text faster. It's just in their face. If you think about going to your email right now, somebody go to their Gmail when they're watching this and just click on junk or spam. How many emails are in there? 100, 1,000, something like that. Those are things that you're just never going to read, especially if you have Gmail and it's going to just, sync the promotions, the social, the junk and all that stuff automatically for you. So you're going through and unsubscribing and all this stuff that you're going through. So things get buried. So some good stats in there is, I mentioned the 5 to 8 touches in there, but think about these stats while you're thinking about the 5 to 8 touches that you have to make. SMS open rate versus email rate is 98% open with SMS, around 20% with email. That's a huge, huge difference. So you're knowing that you're getting that conversation piece out. The SMS response rate is around 45% versus around 6% with email. So now you're at like a 50-50 chance that you're going to get something in there. And the speed is another thing. 90% of SMS is going to be read within 3 minutes, whereas emails, hours, days, something like that, it's going to take a lot longer. So if you could have a system that's going to be able to follow up for you, and do email and text. So you send a proposal, you have an automation that automatically sends the proposal link via text right after that. It's going to be huge. You're going to double your chances of getting notice. You have a follow-up. Maybe on day 3, you have automatic follow-up with email. Day 4, you have an automatic follow-up with text. So you don't barrage them and freak them out or anything like that. Those are super important. But one big thing that you have to pay attention to with follow-ups with text is there are really big new FTC guidelines that you need to follow to be able to do that. So careful with the AI texting and blasting and everything else. Just make sure that you hit that stuff because they have pretty hefty fines and makes it a little bit more difficult. So look for a system that is following those FTC guidelines so that you can be sure that everything's working and you can continue that follow-up. The follow-up is so important here. And if you double it up with this, it's going to help you out because just think about it as a business owner. If any of the business owners here are starting and scaling their sales team, already have salespeople out there and they're not utilizing this, you want your salespeople to be out there hunting for more leads and quoting more houses and getting more in front of people. It's a numbers game. So why not have a system follow up for them so they can focus on looking forward and picking up those new leads instead of having to, always look back and turn. Like you want them to go on a full sprint forward. If somebody raises their hands from one of those automations and say, hey, I'm responding to this email or text, cool, they could circle back and you're just following up on the hand raisers. Know that your CRM is going to be there for you. Build it in a way that it's going to work for you, not against you, because it's not just a data repository. It's a full comm system nowadays, and you need to really utilize that for your benefit.
Oh yeah, leverage that data and as a communication system, like there's so many use cases, but one big one, I mean, you talked about the stage changes automatically. That's a huge help right there and time saver. So your pipeline's actually up to date and accurate. I can't say how many times people go into pipelines and it's like a year data that's not even accurate. Like people who want you close the deal aren't even in the deals one column. Like there's so much there and it becomes disorganized and unproductive at that point. And when you talk about like automations, like perfect one is if someone cancels or no shows an appointment, right? Like your sales rep can call that person, of course, and do their best job. But at what point are they continuing to call them? Whereas, well, if they move to the appointment no-show box or appointment rescheduled, those automations are going out 5 to 8 times. And, your sales rep does their job. Maybe they'll call a couple times, but that automation's continuing to go in the background, trying to get them back on the books. And like, those are the hacks.
Yeah. And like that's, I'll talk about like what I'm about to describe Roofr can do as well, but I'll just talk about my sales team at Roofr. If someone no-shows a demo and we put them into the no-show bucket, it's completely and always kind of following up with them. It's touching base with them and going through, and it's setting automated tasks for call tasks as well. So it's allowing all that stuff to be breaking down piece by piece and allowing you to make sure that you're on top of it. Because you always want that kind of mix of the machine doing it and also that human touch. So in between every 2 or 3 emails, make sure you get a call task that comes in there. And that way it can prompt your guy or girl to just call them back and make sure that everything's dialed in. So that part is super important to kind of continue to run with as well.
Speaking of automations, one of the natural progressions we're seeing happen, a huge topic, is AI. How do you see AI kind of shaping communications and like that experience that roofing companies, we're going to see them leverage more? What are you seeing happen?
So it's definitely going to become a big part. It's a big part of us developing our tool and even like my day-to-day as well. When I was trying to break down numbers and understand it, I use my friend Tony, which is the name I gave ChatGPT, and he just helps me out. So it's great there. It's also great for coding and building and visualizing, marketing, building out all this stuff. It's going to really help you out take that next step. The one part that I see like in all the Facebook groups now is everyone's asking like, what's integrated with AI dialers, AI chatbots, all that stuff here. I might be the old man roofer here, but I feel like some of us need to really understand what AI is currently capable of and where it's about to go. Because currently it cannot replace your own sales team. It cannot replace a app person. Then it can supplement that. And it's super important to understand the supplementing and the helping is going to be a very big part right now. Maybe in a couple of years it can, but I can't tell you how many conversations I see on Facebook and even in our demos when I'm talking to roofers is, yeah, I just want to do this so I can just cut out my sales team or cut out my office and then it just would save me salary. So it's like, they're not that good yet. Like, I just want to, have you dealt with an AI dialer? It's pretty good. It's not there yet. So just understand what you're getting into and kind of try it out. Don't just go willy-nilly and fire everybody just because you think Skynet's going to be able to help you out there. It's going to take some time to get to that point. But where I see it going is I really think it's going to be able to help speed up your process even more. We talk about automations and how it's being able to do that. Well, one big part of that is it's going to know that next step for you. It might be able to change the tone of the message based on the impact that you've had in previous notes and everything else. That's a big thing that I see coming as well. The call answering services and everything are just going to get better. They're going to be more human-like. They're going to be able to handle objections a little bit more, and you'll be able to train them early on. But one of the spots that I'm really excited for it to be built in is throughout the beginning process of building the company, setting yourself up for the right marketing team. You can, right now, I use it for searching for good marketing options and everything else. This is 411, and so there we go. Trick number one. But being able to have that kind of set you up on the right stage for everything. As we grow, as we go along, it's going to be able to do a lot more scheduling and all that stuff as well for you. But I would just be cautious right now. I see so much chatter on it, and it's a hot topic out there. It's a good supplementing tool now, and it will build for more in the future. So it's being able to help you out with everything that you need to do for everything in your business down the line.
Yeah, so you don't want to be one step behind, right? Because we know AI is coming in the pipeline. It's constantly getting better. And so one of the things you need to do if you want to even incorporate that is you need to be organized now and be utilizing the CRM now to understand what even use cases you would need AI for. Don't just throw it at something you're not even like that's a mess, because it's not going to be as productive as a tool. So one of the things, so one of the things you got to do is get really clear and organized in your CRM first manually, right? You got to know, the team's got to know, because a CRM's really, no matter what you choose, it's really only as good as the people who use it. So what are the best ways for a leader, a manager of an organization to ensure the team uses the CRM and keep that accountability high?
One more thing, which is will tie into the answer of that on AI. One of the things that I actually think will be the soonest to help out everybody with, and probably one of the most powerful, is data insights. So I already use it for data from my team. I have it integrated in our backend. I could just say like, hey, what's the close rate here? Where are we dropping off, and where can we help that? But having it integrated or using it with the data that you're already having in your CRM, giving you insights on why your close rates are here, how many follow-ups it's taking, what we need to do to improve the process, where are some like blockers and bottlenecks in your business. That's where it's going to be super valuable, and it's already pretty much there. So change to part of my answer. That's the top thing for me. That's going to be out there. But to tie into your other question on what are the things you need to make sure that your data integrity is there, it's just making sure that things are being used properly. Notes are super important. Data is going to be super important. The proper stages, the proper follow-ups, everything is there, and in there is going to be very important. Replicability to CRM. So when you're bringing on people and training them on a new system, you want to be able to ensure it's quick and easy. So create SOPs that have checklists in there so you can make sure that from day one, you're not getting bad data in there. Because when you start to use AI down the road, you want it to be not good, accurate data rather than something that's a little bit of a mess. Because it's not a human, it's not going to be able to decipher what's good, what's bad, if it's just a pile of crap inside there. So really start to understand, like, what is my process? Let's just take it from a company that just started. What is my process? What are the 6 to 8 different stages that a customer will go through from coming into my company to finishing the job there? So it's a call, appointment set, proposal sent, proposal follow up, proposal signed, pre-production, production, you name it. Find those things there. Now, inside those tasks, inside those stages, what are the tasks that need to be completed amongst that area? Set that up so that when if most CRMs have task buffers. So when a stage moves, create a new task of things to do for you and your team so you can replicate yourself as quick as possible. And then make sure that notes are being taken, make sure the data is coming in there strong. Don't create like 6 proposals and not void some of them or archive some of them so that now your job here is inflated into $1 million, but it should be 65,000 or whatever. So having that data dialed in, and you can do that with a lot of it. You talked about automations. That's the easiest way to make sure that everything's moving smoothly. but it really comes down to the mindset. Goes back to that first thing I said, the best CRM is the one that works for you. Find the tool that will make your life easier. And that's not just running your business, it's making it easier to input, track, and search and find data that is going to be important for you guys down the line.
You touched on such an important part of data, and that's something consistently through this conversation. I mean, it's important to own your data. That's the one thing you need to know when you're choosing a CRM. It's important to leverage your data, right? So what you are updating in the CRM, things like that, so it can output number 3, so you can make decisions to grow the company. One thing I always preach is numbers don't lie, right? So if we know XYZ happens at X data point, you'll be able to make certain decisions for your company and not base it on a guessing game and just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall hoping what sticks. No, the data told me this. The data told me this is my highest lead source. The data told me that I follow up this many times on average. The data told me people respond after my 5th email or text, right? The data told me that SMS has an X% higher open rate than email. And so leveraging that data is so important. I want to give people at this point some actionable takeaways. I think we could do two versions of this. For the people who are just starting a roofing company, kind of starting from scratch, we're seeing a lot more people come early rather than late to getting a CRM. What's the first step to a company who's kind of getting things started that they should take this week when it comes to CRM?
Think about the season. Most spots in the US and Canada are roofing is seasonal. So think about where you are right now in the season and where you want to get by the end of it. So whether it's 4, 6 months, 8 months from now, just take a look at that and then really understand your wants versus your needs and try to find those needs that fit in that and maybe just a little bit outside that time frame. Right then and there, you're going to understand what's needed to become a successful company for you. Tie in your goals. Understand my goal is to get to X amount of revenue by December so that I can set up the processes to go to that next level. So number 1, find your wants and needs and really break that down. Then I always say, set a meeting with 3 of the CRMs that fit your criteria. You can use ChatGPT, you can use a lot of tools, you can use Google, use Gemini. There's a lot of AI tools there. And just set it in there. So just fill that all in and see what roofing CRMs fit with it. Then have demos with them and find out which one is fitting for you that you know you're going to use. But I think that part's very important. A lot of people go in there, and I talked to somebody, I think it was the end of last week, who's just starting out and experienced the CRMs, used to work in another company, and really laid out his wants and needs. But I challenged him on his needs because he was saying, I need this commission output in here. And I was like, I don't know if anybody in the CRM space here actually has that. I'm like, but how many employees do you have? I'm like, none. So what do you need commission for? He was like, I'm going to need it down the line. I was like, okay, that commission structure seems a little bit more complicated than most, but when do you think you're going to hire a sales rep? Probably sometime next year. Okay, I don't know if you need commissions right now. So it's a want, it's not a need. We got to be able to really identify that. So breaking that stuff down is going to allow you to streamline your process and really be able to hyper focus on the tool that's going to help you the most right now. And again, really look into where you're growing and where that tool's growing to, and if you're kind of aligned on your values there.
Very good. So that's a great actionable step for those of you who are just starting out. And now those of you who already have a CRM, you're already established, you're working within a CRM, you always have to improve to make things better. So what's a quick piece of advice, actionable takeaway for them to what things should they maybe just go in and see, oh, okay, we already have our CRM established. What things do we need to look into building up further? What's some advice for them?
Start at goal, understand what you're trying to get to, and then find out the situation that you're in with everything that's built in there. What's your situation? Where are you guys? What are you using? Is there any external tool stacks that you're using to tie in? Are you using a single source solution for proposals, for instant estimates, etc.? Then get the cost. Then what you're going to do is find the problems with what's going on right now, your process, your tool set, your data. Find the problems that are going to restrict you from hitting that goal in that timeline. Then the next step is you're going to find the implication of it. If you don't fix X problem, how is that going to affect me hitting that goal? Is it going to allow me to? Is it going to allow me to pull into that? And anything else? And at the end, find the solution. Is the solution within your CRM or is it outside of it? And you really got to dial yourself in and understand, like, here is the situation that we're working with, and here are the things that need to be fixed, the problems and the implications, and how I can fix it. I hope that your CRM can fix that. If not, look elsewhere, but always pay attention to, like Arielle mentioned, the data points, how the migration is going to be as well. But I like that method. For those who might not have recognized it when I was saying it, it's literally a sales methodology that could be used towards problem identification as well. It's called the spin method. There is a really good book on that. It's called Spin Selling, but it's a great way to look at a bunch of things in your business and not about just selling. The situation, the problem, the implication of those problems, and that payoff at the end. What is the right move? So take that into consideration. If you're a mid-market or enterprise company looking to do that, take that goal, apply that method, and you'll be able to understand a little bit of where you need to go next.
Awesome feedback, awesome advice for those who already have a CRM and they're not sure what to do after hearing this because they're like, oh, there's so many cool things I know I need to give attention to and focus on. So that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I know I asked you to kind of be unbiased, like just based on your CRM experience. So I appreciate you doing that and giving like an authentic opinion on what you're seeing. And I want to go into the last part of this podcast. It's my favorite part. It's this or that roofing CRM edition. So I'm going to rapid fire two words, and you got to choose between them. And we're going to just go through. You could only choose one.
Cool.
All right. You ready?
Ready.
All right. SMS or email automations?
SMS.
Self-booking calendar or manual bookings?
Self-booking.
Automated follow-up or manual follow-up?
Ooh, I can't say combo, right? Automated.
Lead quality or lead quantity?
Quality.
Mobile app or desktop CRM?
Oh, that's a difficult one. There's a middle ground answer, so I know I'm ruining rapid fire, but it is a mobile application that works just the same as the desktop. There's some really big CRMs out there, and I'll name one, HubSpot, the tool that I use and love on my back end. There could not be a worse mobile app in the world than that. You cannot do anything that you could do on desktop in there. So my question is a mixture of the two. It is a mobile application, so app that functions the same as the desktop.
Okay, I'll take that as mobile app. CRM for
I cheated.
CRM for sales or production?
These are getting progressively harder. Sales, because it drives that, but you need something for productions as well. But sales is the reluctant answer.
Sales first. If you don't have sales, you don't have production. Pre-written templates or fully customized messages?
Pre-written templates. You could always customize those pre-written ones.
Speed to lead or nurture over time?
Speed to lead. That is a stat. You're 7 times more likely to close a job if you answer with them in the first hour of their inquiry, and you're 40% more likely to win the job if you're the first person in the door. Speed to win wins every time.
Text reminders or email reminders?
Text reminders.
Same day estimates or second appointment estimates?
Same day estimates. Get in there first, follow up the next day.
Going into instant estimates or in-person estimates?
Instant estimates. I will say, like, unequivocally, I also have an instant estimate tool, and I've used it in my last 9 years. But unequivocally, people need to understand instant estimate isn't buying on the spot. It's presetting that in-person appointment. It is a conduit to it. It's supposed to price condition and price qualify while pre-qualifying that customer for that appointment. So that's a big misnomer in the industry. There's a lot of great instant estimator tools out there. Shout out to all of them. It's not meant to be a one-stop shop. They buy, and they go. No one's buying a $50,000 roof sight unseen. So it's meant to book that appointment after.
Awesome. One big CRM tool or multiple specialized tools?
One big one. Less overhead, more streamlined, a lot stronger.
AI chatbots or live rep?
At the moment, live rep. Talk to me next year, I might change my mind.
Daily CRM check-ins or weekly CRM reviews?
This is from a sales manager to the team?
Sure.
Weekly.
Awesome. You made it through. Woo!
It was tough.
I
They
think
started off easy. You softballed some in, and then you just started whipping them hard. I was just like, oh no, I'm swinging and missing. So.
there's no wrong answers. You're just quick on your feet, but you did very, very good considering those were some hard questions, and it's hard because it's really case by case. But I think there was a lot of great things you shared today. So I want people to have the opportunity to connect with you or just learn more about Roofr CRM solutions, see if it may be something for them. Where can people find you, connect with Roofr to see more?
Yeah, you can come by. You can try a lot of the CRM for free as well. And get your first measurement for free, first 5 proposals for free, all at roofr.com. Top right-hand corner, start for free. Click on that button and somebody will reach out with you after. If you want to talk to me directly, you can catch me on my email. It's NIC, so Nic without the K, at roofr.com. And you can catch us on Pete and I do bi-weekly masterclasses at roofr.com/masterclasses. Those things are free and open for everybody. You catch it on YouTube as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Nic. Appreciate you so much for being on.
Thank you. And thank you for everything that Business 401 does. You guys help the industry out in a lot of ways, marketing, sales training, everything. So you guys are killing it.
Thank you. Appreciate that as always.